What if the secret to defying aging was already alive?
Let's dive into the fascinating world of aging. This process, while inevitable, is deeply rooted in the biology of our cells. From the moment we're born, our bodies are on a remarkable journey of growth, repair and maintenance. But, as we shall see, each step of this journey comes with its own set of challenges. The aging process in humans is unavoidable due to the fundamental biology of our DNA, chromosomes and cellular mechanisms. From birth, our cells continuously divide to grow, repair and maintain the body. However, each cell division comes at a cost, gradually leading to aging and, eventually, death. One of the primary causes of aging is telomere shortening. Telomeres are protective caps at the ends of chromosomes that prevent genetic material from being lost during cell division. However, with each division, telomeres become shorter, eventually reaching a critical length where cells can no longer divide. At this point, they enter a state called senescence, or undergo programmed cell death. This process limits a cell's lifespan and contributes to tissue degradation over time. Each time a cell divides, its chromosomes are copied, but telomeres shorten slightly. Fast-dividing cells, like skin and gut cells, replicate every few days, while others, like liver cells, divide every few months. Over decades, telomere shortening leads to aging and cell decline. DNA damage occurs daily due to environmental factors and metabolism. While most damage is repaired, mutations accumulate over years, increasing disease risk. Similarly, mitochondrial DNA mutates faster than nuclear DNA, reducing energy production and accelerating aging. Epigenetic changes, which regulate gene expression, shift gradually over months to years, affecting cellular function. Stem cells also decline over decades, slowing tissue repair and weakening the immune system. In short, chromosomal changes occur constantly, some daily, others over years or decades, making aging an unavoidable process. Another unavoidable factor is DNA damage and mutations. Throughout life, DNA is constantly exposed to harmful agents such as radiation, toxins, and free radicals produced by normal metabolic processes. Although cells have repair mechanisms, these are not perfect. Over time, small errors accumulate, leading to cellular dysfunction, genetic mutations, and an increased risk of diseases like cancer. Biological factors play a significant role in the aging process. These include genetic predispositions, hormonal changes, and the gradual decline in cellular function. Understanding these factors helps us grasp why aging occurs and how it affects overall health and longevity. Mitochondrial decline also plays a crucial role in aging. Mitochondria, often called the powerhouses of cells, produce energy for the body but also generate byproducts called free radicals. These reactive molecules damage cellular components, including DNA and proteins, leading to reduced efficiency and cellular stress. As mitochondria become less effective, energy production declines, contributing to the symptoms of aging, such as fatigue and organ deterioration. Epigenetic changes, which regulate gene expression, further drive aging. Over time, the chemical markers that control which genes are turned on or off become disorganized, leading to improper gene activity. This disruption affects critical processes such as DNA repair, immune response, and inflammation control, all of which contribute to aging-related diseases. Additionally, stem cell exhaustion limits the body's ability to regenerate tissues. Stem cells play a key role in repairing damaged or aging tissues, but as they decline with age, the body's ability to heal slows down. This results in weaker immune function, slower wound healing, and increased vulnerability to diseases. The accumulation of senescent cells, cells that have stopped dividing but remain in the body, further accelerates aging. These cells release harmful molecules that cause inflammation and damage surrounding healthy tissues. This chronic low-grade inflammation is a major driver of many age-related conditions, including arthritis, cardiovascular disease, and neurodegeneration. Ultimately, aging is a combination of programmed biological processes and random damage accumulation. While some aspects of aging are genetically controlled, Environmental factors such as diet, stress, and lifestyle choices also influence how quickly these processes unfold. Despite medical advances aimed at slowing aging, the fundamental biological mechanisms make it impossible to stop entirely. In summary, the aging process is inevitable because of the gradual shortening of telomeres, accumulating DNA damage, mitochondrial decline, epigenetic changes, and the exhaustion of regenerative mechanisms. While scientists continue to explore ways to delay or mitigate the effects of aging, the intricate and interconnected nature of these processes makes complete prevention unattainable. But one incredible creature has found a way to defy aging by preventing its telomeres from shortening. Watch the next video to uncover its secret. Lobsters have a truly unique relationship with aging, making them a subject of fascination for biologists and researchers. Unlike most animals which show clear signs of aging, such as reduced cellular function, organ deterioration, and increased vulnerability to disease, lobsters exhibit negligible senescence. This means that they do not experience a typical aging process where their risk of mortality increases simply due to age. Instead, they continue to grow, reproduce, and function at a high level throughout their lives. While they are not biologically immortal, their ability to defy aging for extended periods sets them apart from most other creatures. One of the most significant factors contributing to lobsters' unusual aging process is their telomerase activity. Telomerase is an enzyme responsible for maintaining and repairing telomeres, which are the protective caps on the ends of chromosomes. In most organisms, telomeres shorten over time as cells divide, leading to cellular aging and eventual death. However, lobsters produce telomerase throughout their entire lives, particularly in their reproductive and somatic or body cells, allowing their cells to continue dividing indefinitely without experiencing genetic degradation. This continuous DNA maintenance allows lobsters to avoid many of the degenerative effects of aging that other animals face. Their organs do not deteriorate and their reproductive capabilities do not decline with age. This means that a 50-year-old lobster is just as capable of reproducing and surviving as a much younger one. Despite their impressive cellular maintenance, lobsters are not truly immortal. Their primary limitation is their molting process, which becomes increasingly difficult as they grow larger. Unlike mammals that grow continuously through internal means, lobsters grow by shedding their exoskeletons in a process called ecdysis. Each time a lobster molts, it must extract itself from its old shell and form a new, larger one. When lobsters are young, they molt frequently, sometimes multiple times a year. However, as they get older and larger, the molting process becomes more energy-intensive and risky. A large lobster may take weeks or even months to recover from a molt, during which time it is highly vulnerable to injury, infection, and predation. Additionally, as they grow in size, the demand for energy to complete a molt increases, and eventually many lobsters die from exhaustion or complications related to molting rather than from old age itself. Lobsters do not stop growing, and some individuals have been found to be over 100 years old. The largest recorded lobster was caught off the coast of Nova Scotia and weighed 44 pounds, an indication of just how long these creatures can live under ideal conditions. However, in the wild, most lobsters do not reach such extreme ages due to natural predators, human fishing, diseases, and environmental changes. Due to their resistance to aging and continuous growth, lobsters have become a subject of interest in aging and longevity research. Scientists are studying their high telomerase activity to understand whether similar mechanisms could be applied to human medicine, particularly in tissue regeneration, cancer research, and anti-aging treatments. Since uncontrolled telomerase activity is a hallmark of many cancerous cells, understanding how lobsters manage to maintain this enzyme without developing cancer could provide insights into human longevity and health. While lobsters can live extraordinarily long lives compared to most animals, they are not truly immortal. Their ability to avoid biological aging is remarkable, but they are ultimately limited by the physical challenges of molting, environmental threats, and disease. Nevertheless, their unique biology offers a compelling look into how nature has evolved different mechanisms for survival and longevity. Scientists continue to study lobsters as a model for understanding aging, and their telomerase-rich biology may one day contribute to breakthroughs in human health and medicine.
Turritopsis dohrnii is a tiny, transparent species of jellyfish that has earned the title of Immortal due to its extraordinary biological ability to reverse its life cycle. Native to the Mediterranean Sea, but now found in oceans all around the world, this jellyfish is only about 4 to 5 millimeters in diameter, roughly the size of a pinky nail. Yet its powers have captured the attention of scientists, futurists, and longevity researchers alike. What makes Turritopsis dohrnii unique is its ability to undergo a process called transdifferentiation, a rare phenomenon in which one type of cell transforms into another. This is not just basic regeneration, like what you see in starfish or lizards. It's a complete reversion of its biological clock. When it experiences environmental stress, starvation, physical damage, or even the natural aging process, Turritopsis dohrnii can transform its adult medusa form back into a polyp, the earliest stage of a jellyfish's life. From there, it can grow up all over again, essentially restarting its life. And theoretically, this can happen indefinitely, making it biologically immortal. This cycle of rejuvenation isn't a guaranteed path to eternal life, though. These jellyfish can still die from predation, disease, or changes in their environment. But barring external threats, there's no internal biological clock ticking toward death like there is in most living organisms. That's why the species is often described as cheating death or defying aging in scientific and popular discussions. In terms of anatomy, Turritopsis dohrnii isn't flashy. It's bell-shaped, mostly transparent, and surrounded by 80 to 90 fine tentacles in adulthood. Despite its unassuming appearance, its genetic and cellular structure has become the focus of intense scientific interest. Researchers are particularly curious about the genes and molecular pathways that allow for its incredible cellular flexibility. Some scientists hope that unlocking the mechanisms behind transdifferentiation could one day contribute to regenerative medicine, such as repairing damaged tissues or even reversing aspects of human aging. Studying Turritopsis dohrnii is not without its challenges. It's delicate and difficult to keep in captivity, and triggering its transformation reliably in laboratory settings is still a work in progress. Nonetheless, it's a biological marvel, a real-life sci-fi creature that might hold clues to unlocking longer, healthier lives for humans. In the broader context of nature and longevity, Turritopsis dohrnii stands as a reminder of how little we truly understand about aging. Evolution has granted this jellyfish a tool we've only just begun to comprehend, and as science pushes forward, we may find that the key to our own longevity lies in studying these ancient ocean-dwelling masters of time. Beyond lobsters and jellyfish, one of the most fascinating organisms that could theoretically live forever is the Hydra, a tiny freshwater polyp related to jellyfish and corals. What sets hydras apart from most other animals is their apparent lack of aging. They show no signs of deterioration over time, leading scientists to classify them as biologically immortal under ideal conditions. Most animals, including humans, experience senescence, the gradual decline in cellular function that leads to aging and eventual death. This process is largely due to the accumulation of genetic mutations, cell damage, and the reduced ability of stem cells to replace old or damaged tissues. However, hydras seem to bypass senescence entirely, remaining in a youthful state indefinitely. At the heart of this phenomenon is their constant regeneration process, driven by an abundance of stem cells. Hydras possess a high number of interstitial stem cells, which continuously divide and replace old or damaged cells throughout their bodies. Unlike in humans, where stem cell activity declines with age, Hydra stem cells remain active indefinitely, meaning their tissues never truly degrade. This perpetual renewal allows them to maintain their structure and function without aging. Hydras are famous for their remarkable regenerative abilities. If a hydra is injured or even cut into pieces, each fragment can regrow into a fully functional organism, a level of regeneration that few species can match. This ability is due to their simple body structure and the unique behavior of their stem cells, which can rapidly form new tissues. Even more astonishing, if a hydra is subjected to extreme conditions or lacks food, it can contract into a tiny dormant form and later restore itself once conditions improve. This resilience allows them to survive in unpredictable environments, further reinforcing their potential for indefinite survival. While hydras do not age in the traditional sense, they are not truly invincible. In the wild, they face threats such as predators, disease, environmental changes, and starvation, all of which can lead to their demise. However, under controlled laboratory conditions, where external threats are minimized, scientists have observed that hydras can theoretically live indefinitely without experiencing the usual effects of aging. The study of hydras has become a major focus in aging and regenerative medicine research. Scientists are particularly interested in how hydras maintain stem cell activity indefinitely, as understanding these mechanisms could one day lead to breakthroughs in human longevity, tissue regeneration, and even treatments for age-related diseases. In essence, the hydra's unique biology challenges our understanding of aging and mortality. While humans are far from achieving such biological immortality, the study of hydras offers a glimpse into the potential for extending life and unlocking the secrets of perpetual renewal. Naked mole rats don't just live a long time for rodents, they completely break the rules of aging biology. Most animals show signs of wear and tear as they age: slower movement, reduced fertility, more disease. Not naked mole rats. These odd little creatures can live over 30 years, a huge outlier for a rodent since most mice or rats barely make it to 3. Even more impressively, they stay healthy and fertile right up until the end of their lives. Females can still have litters at 25, and researchers haven't observed a sharp increase in mortality with age, which is unheard of in mammals. Part of the naked mole rat's secret lies in its incredible cellular maintenance systems. Their cells have hyper-efficient DNA repair mechanisms, which prevent mutations from accumulating over time. Their proteins are more stable, their mitochondria are unusually resilient, and their proteasome systems, which clear out damaged proteins, work far more effectively than those in typical mammals. One of the most talked about naked mole rat traits is their extraordinary resistance to cancer. In most mammals, longer life comes with more chances for cells to go rogue. Not so for naked mole rats. They produce a unique version of hyaluronan, a molecule that helps keep tissues elastic and may play a role in their cancer resistance by preventing cells from overcrowding and forming tumors. When scientists remove this form of hyaluronan from their bodies, the mole rats become more vulnerable to cancer, suggesting this gooey substance is key to their defense system. Unlike humans, whose brains shrink and cognition declines with age, naked mole rats appear to maintain neurological function throughout their lives. Their brains remain plastic, and there's evidence that their neurogenesis, the creation of new neurons, continues far into adulthood, something that slows or stops in many other mammals. Add to all that, they can survive up to 18 minutes without oxygen and live comfortably in low oxygen, high CO2 environments. They achieve this by switching their metabolism to a state that more closely resembles that of a plant or a worm, relying on fructose-based anaerobic respiration. This not only helps them in their underground tunnels, but also protects their cells from oxidative stress, one of the primary drivers of aging. Naked mole rats also don't feel some types of pain. They've evolved to be insensitive to acid-induced pain and don't seem to mind capsaicin, the spicy compound in chili peppers. Scientists believe this might reduce chronic inflammation, which is a known contributor to aging and age-related disease. Their lower metabolic rate also means less cellular wear and tear over time, contributing to their longevity. Naked mole rats aren't just a quirky side note in biology, they're a goldmine for anti-aging research. By studying their unique genes, proteins and immune systems, scientists hope to unlock clues that could help delay aging, prevent cancer and extend healthy lifespan in humans. The hope is to mimic their biological advantages through gene therapy, drug development or even CRISPR-based technologies. So, while the naked mole rat may look like a pink wrinkled hot dog with teeth, it might just hold the key to living longer, healthier lives without losing our edge as we age. In a world obsessed with youth, this oddball underground rodent may end up being one of our greatest allies against time. The Greenland shark, Somniosus microcephalus, is a truly remarkable creature, especially when it comes to longevity. It holds the record as the longest living vertebrate known to science. Estimates based on radiocarbon dating of proteins in their eye lenses suggest that Greenland sharks can live for at least 272 years, with some individuals potentially reaching ages of 400 years or more. One famous study published in 2016 analysed the eyes of several Greenland sharks and found one specimen estimated to be about 392 years old, with a margin of error of roughly plus or minus 120 years. This means that some sharks alive today may have been born during the early 1600s, long before modern nations even took their current form. The secret to their extraordinary lifespan is still not fully understood, but it is likely linked to their extremely slow metabolism, a common adaptation among deep-sea creatures. Greenland sharks inhabit the cold, deep waters of the North Atlantic and Arctic Oceans, where temperatures hover just above freezing. Their slow metabolic rate corresponds to extremely slow growth rates, sometimes as little as a centimetre per year, and delayed maturity, with some estimates suggesting they do not reach reproductive age until around 150 years old. This sluggish biological pace appears to help reduce cellular damage over time, contributing to their astonishing longevity. Another factor contributing to their long lives could be their minimal exposure to external threats in their natural habitat. Deep, dark, frigid waters offer few predators and limit physical stress, both of which can shorten lifespans in other species. However, their long life comes with a vulnerability. They are extremely slow to reproduce, making populations particularly sensitive to environmental changes and human activities like fishing and pollution. Despite their ghostly ancient presence in the seas, Greenland sharks remain somewhat mysterious. Much about their biology, behaviour, and even their maximum lifespan is still being uncovered, a testament to how little we know about the deeper parts of our oceans.
Planarian flatworms are fascinating creatures, best known for their extraordinary regenerative abilities. These tiny freshwater or marine worms can regenerate an entire organism from even a small fragment of their bodies. If a planarian is cut into pieces, each piece can regrow into a complete and fully functional worm. This capability is powered by a population of adult stem cells called neoblasts, which make up around 20% of the worm's cells. These neoblasts can divide and differentiate into any cell type the worm needs, making them a key to planarians' remarkable resilience and apparent resistance to aging. What sets planarians apart in the context of aging is not just their ability to regenerate tissue, but their potential biological immortality. Some species of planarians show no clear signs of senescence, the gradual deterioration associated with aging in most organisms. Because they can continually renew their tissues through the activity of neoblasts, their cells don't accumulate damage in the same way most animals do. Even more astonishing, planarians reproduce asexually through a process called fission, in which the worm splits in two and each half regenerates into a complete organism. Through this method, a planarian line can theoretically propagate indefinitely without aging-related decline. Research into planarian flatworms is shedding light on the molecular and genetic mechanisms behind regeneration and aging. Scientists are particularly interested in how these worms maintain genomic stability and telomere length, both key factors in aging. Some evidence suggests they can extend telomeres using an enzyme called telomerase, much like stem cells and cancer cells in humans, allowing them to avoid the telomere shortening that contributes to aging in other species. Though we're still unraveling the full story, planarians offer a window into the possibility of aging.
The ocean quahog, also known by its scientific name Arctica islandica, is a deep-sea bivalve mollusk that, has really drawn significant scientific attention because of its extraordinary longevity. Native to the cold waters of the North Atlantic, this species thrives in stable, low-temperature environments ranging from coastal regions all the way down to depths of over 400 meters. Unlike many marine organisms that, live fast and die young, the ocean quahog follows a drastically different life strategy. It grows slowly, matures late, and can live for more than 5 centuries. The most famous individual, discovered near Iceland and later dubbed Ming because it was born during China's Ming dynasty, lived to be at least 507 years old before it was, unfortunately, killed during scientific sampling in 2006. Its age was determined by counting the annual growth rings on its shell, a method that's pretty similar to tree ring analysis. This species' remarkable lifespan is not just a curiosity. It's actually the result of evolutionary adaptations that promote survival in an environment where food is scarce, temperatures are low, and predation is, well, quite limited. One of the most critical factors in its longevity is its unusually slow metabolism. In cold, deep ocean waters, biological functions occur at a glacial pace, dramatically reducing the accumulation of cellular and molecular damage that typically leads to aging in most organisms. This metabolic economy means less energy is expended overall, reducing oxidative stress and the harmful byproducts of respiration that can degrade cells and tissues over time. Moreover, the ocean quahog's thick, robust shell is another key to its survival. It protects the animal not only from predators, but also from physical damage and environmental fluctuations, such as changes in salinity, acidity, or temperature. This shell acts as both armor and insulator, preserving internal stability in a world of external change. Inside, the clam's biological systems are similarly resilient. It exhibits high resistance to oxidative damage and has been shown to maintain protein homeostasis and DNA repair mechanisms far longer than shorter-lived species. Scientists are particularly interested in Arctica islandica because it offers a natural model for studying the mechanics of longevity. Unlike lab-based organisms like fruit flies or mice, which age rapidly and have relatively short lives, the ocean quahog provides a long-term, real-world case study in how life can be extended under natural conditions. Its tissues carry biochemical markers that help researchers understand how long-lived animals avoid or delay common aging problems, such as inflammation, cellular senescence, and protein misfolding. Because its environment has remained relatively unchanged for centuries, the ocean quahog also serves as a biological archive, storing climate data in the chemical composition of its growth rings, making it valuable to marine scientists and climatologists alike. So, in sum, the ocean quahog stands at the fascinating intersection of marine biology, gerontology, and environmental science. It exemplifies how life can be prolonged through adaptation to specific ecological niches, and it holds promise for informing how humans might one day delay aging and extend healthy lifespan.
The red sea urchin, or Mesocentrotus franciscanus, is a remarkable species of echinoderm that thrives in the cold, nutrient-rich waters of the Pacific Ocean, especially along the western coastline of North America, commonly found from Alaska down to Baja California. These sea urchins inhabit rocky ocean floors, where kelp forests dominate. They are slow-moving, spiny creatures with a vivid red exterior and can grow up to 20 centimeters or 8 inches in diameter. Their spines help them navigate and anchor themselves to rocks, while also serving as a defense mechanism against predators like sea otters and starfish. Red sea urchins are primarily herbivorous and feed on drifting algae and kelp, which they scrape off rocks with a specialized feeding structure known as Aristotle's lantern, a complex jaw apparatus that allows for efficient grazing. What makes the red sea urchin extraordinary is its exceptional longevity. Some individuals have been accurately aged at over 200 years, with no observable decline in physical or reproductive abilities. This rare phenomenon, called negligible senescence, means that these animals do not experience the gradual deterioration of body function typical of aging in most organisms. Unlike humans and other animals that face age-related decline in immune function, reproductive capacity, and cellular repair, red sea urchins maintain their physiological processes over centuries. Even in advanced age, they continue to grow, move, feed, and reproduce, with no evidence of increased mortality risk due to aging. Scientists are fascinated by this species because it challenges many established theories of aging and cellular deterioration. Research into their genetic and molecular biology has revealed that red sea urchins possess highly efficient mechanisms for DNA repair, resistance to oxidative stress, and cellular regeneration. These factors may play key roles in their longevity and could eventually help inform new approaches to understanding and mitigating human aging. Additionally, their immune systems seem to remain robust over time, and their telomeres, the protective ends of chromosomes often associated with aging, do not shorten in the same way they do in humans. Economically, red sea urchins are valuable for their roe, or uni, a delicacy in many global cuisines, particularly in Japan. This demand has led to large-scale harvesting, which in some areas has put significant pressure on wild populations. Sustainable harvesting practices and marine conservation efforts are now critical to preserving these ancient creatures. Protecting red sea urchins not only maintains biodiversity in marine The bowhead whale, Balaena mystititis, is an extraordinary marine mammal renowned for its immense size, resilience, and record-breaking longevity. Inhabiting the icy waters of the Arctic and subarctic regions, the bowhead whale is uniquely adapted to survive in one of the planet's harshest environments. Reaching lengths of up to 60 feet or 18 meters and weighing over 100 tons, these whales are easily recognizable by their massive, bow-shaped heads, which can make up a third of their body length, and are powerful enough to break through thick sea ice. Unlike many other whale species, bowheads do not migrate to warmer waters, but remain in the frigid north year-round, relying on a thick layer of blubber for insulation and energy storage. What truly sets the bowhead whale apart is its status as the longest living mammal on Earth. Scientists have estimated that some individuals live well over 200 years. This remarkable lifespan has been confirmed through a combination of techniques, including analysis of eye lens proteins and the discovery of antique harpoon fragments embedded in whale blubber, some of which date back to the mid-1800s, long before modern whaling ceased. These physical artifacts serve as tangible evidence of both the whale's longevity and its historic encounters with human hunters, providing rare insight into the natural and human history of the Arctic. Researchers are increasingly interested in understanding what allows the bowhead whale to live for 2 centuries or more, with seemingly minimal signs of aging or disease. Genetic studies have revealed that bowheads possess unique adaptations that help maintain cellular integrity over long life spans. For example, their DNA repair mechanisms are highly efficient, helping to prevent mutations that can lead to age-related diseases like cancer. Another factor contributing to their long lives may be their slow-paced lifestyle. Bowhead whales have a low metabolic rate, which not only suits their cold habitat, but may also reduce the wear and tear on their cells over time. They are filter feeders, consuming vast amounts of small organisms like zooplankton and copepods by swimming with their mouths open. Their feeding strategy requires minimal energy and reflects a broader pattern of energy-efficient living that supports longevity. Reproduction in bowheads is similarly gradual. They reach sexual maturity at around 20 years of age, and calving intervals are long, which aligns with the slower life histories seen in many long-lived species. Despite their longevity, bowhead whales are not invincible. Commercial whaling in the 18th and 19th centuries severely reduced their populations, and although international protections have helped some populations recover, they remain vulnerable to threats such as climate change, oil exploration, and increased shipping traffic in Arctic regions. Melting sea ice is reshaping their environment and could have unforeseen consequences on their food sources and migration patterns. Continued conservation efforts are essential not only to protect this majestic species, but also glass sponges are an extraordinary group of deep-sea organisms that belong to the class Hexactinellida. Unlike most sponges, their skeletons are made of silica, forming intricate lattices that look like delicate glass structures, hence the name. These skeletal frameworks are both beautiful and functional, offering support in the deep ocean's high-pressure environment. Glass sponges are typically found in cold, deep waters, often clinging to rocky substrates on the ocean floor where sunlight never penetrates. What makes glass sponges especially remarkable is their potential for extreme longevity. Some specimens, such as those belonging to the species Monohaphis tuni, have been estimated to be over 11,000 years old, making them among the oldest living creatures ever discovered. These sponges grow incredibly slowly, often just a few millimeters per century, which contributes to their long lifespans. Their slow metabolism reduces cellular stress and damage, a key factor in avoiding the biological deterioration associated with aging. Another factor in their longevity is their silica-based skeleton. This structure is not only durable, but also resistant to microbial decay and physical damage. In many ways, it acts like a natural armor, protecting the soft tissues of the sponge from external stressors, such as predators or environmental changes. Furthermore, glass sponges have a unique method of nutrient uptake, filtering microscopic particles and bacteria from the water with extreme efficiency, which allows them to survive in nutrient-poor deep-sea habitats. Glass sponges also possess a fascinating biological feature. They can transmit electrical signals across their tissues. While they don't have nervous systems like higher animals, this ability allows them to coordinate their feeding responses and perhaps regulate other physiological processes. This trait makes them one of the few known examples of electrical signaling in non-neural organisms. Their combination of durability, low metabolic demand, and structural ingenuity makes glass sponges a symbol of resilience in the natural world. Studying these ancient creatures offers scientists valuable insight.
Giant tortoises, particularly the Galapagos and Aldabra species, are among the most iconic long-living animals on Earth, with recorded lifespans exceeding 150 years, and anecdotal evidence suggesting some individuals have lived over 2 centuries. These massive reptiles have captured scientific and public fascination alike, not only for their size and prehistoric appearance, but for their incredible resistance to aging. Their slow metabolism, leisurely lifestyles, and evolutionary adaptations have all contributed to their exceptional longevity, but scientists now believe the secrets to their lifespan may lie much deeper, at the genetic and cellular levels. What makes these tortoises so extraordinary is how little they seem to age biologically, even after more than a century. Unlike humans and many other mammals, giant tortoises show few signs of age-related degeneration. Their organs do not deteriorate significantly with time, and they retain their reproductive capacity well into old age. Cellular studies have revealed that these tortoises accumulate less molecular damage, including fewer mutations and oxidative stress, both of which are commonly linked to aging. Additionally, their bodies seem to have enhanced repair mechanisms and possibly even anti-cancer properties, which further protect them from the typical decline associated with old age. This unique resilience has made giant tortoises a focal point for aging research. Scientists are sequencing their genomes and analyzing their DNA repair genes, immune system efficiency, and metabolic pathways to uncover what makes their longevity possible. The hope is that understanding these mechanisms could eventually translate into breakthroughs for human health, particularly in the prevention of age-related diseases and the development of life extension therapies. As living time capsules, giant tortoises are not just wonders of nature.
Bdelloid rotifers are fascinating microscopic freshwater animals that have drawn significant scientific interest due to their extraordinary survival capabilities and potential implications for understanding aging and resilience in biological organisms. Measuring just about 150 to 700 microns in length, these tiny invertebrates have managed to exist for tens of millions of years without sexual reproduction, relying solely on asexual cloning. Remarkably, despite the genetic drawbacks often associated with asexual reproduction, such as the buildup of harmful mutations, Bdelloid rotifers have not only endured but thrived, showing few signs of typical aging processes. One of their most astonishing features is their ability to survive extreme environmental stresses that would typically be fatal to most lifeforms. Bdelloid rotifers can enter a state of cryptobiosis, effectively suspending their metabolism when faced with desiccation or the complete drying out of their habitat. In this state, they can withstand not only prolonged periods without water, but also intense doses of radiation, extreme temperatures, and even the vacuum of space. When rehydrated, they spring back to life with their cellular functions intact, an ability that has been likened to biological resurrection. Their resilience also extends to their genetic makeup. Without sexual reproduction, one would expect a narrowing of genetic diversity over time. However, Bdelloid rotifers exhibit a unique method of DNA repair and are known to incorporate genetic material from other species, such as bacteria and fungi, through horizontal gene transfer. This unusual adaptation may help them combat the negative effects of mutation accumulation and could be a key reason for their evolutionary success and apparent resistance to aging. These traits have made Bdelloid rotifers a subject of intense study among biologists, especially those interested in aging, longevity, and extremophile life forms. Scientists hope that by better understanding how these creatures maintain cellular health and repair DNA under extreme conditions, they might uncover insights applicable to human health, especially in aging and space exploration contexts. In short, Bdelloid rotifers are not just scientific curiosities, they represent one of the most durable and mysteriously ageless life forms known to science. challenging our understanding.
Sea anemones are among the most intriguing and biologically remarkable creatures in the animal kingdom, particularly due to their exceptional regenerative abilities and apparent resistance to aging. These soft-bodied, tentacled animals belong to the phylum Cnidaria and are closely related to corals and jellyfish. While they may resemble delicate underwater flowers, sea anemones are actually formidable predators and sophisticated biological organisms with traits that continue to fascinate scientists. One of the most astounding characteristics of sea anemones is their capacity for regeneration. This ability stems from the presence of specialized stem cells that allow them to rebuild lost or damaged tissues with impressive precision. If an anemone is injured or even split in half, it can often regrow the missing parts, effectively restoring its original form. This regenerative ability is not limited to minor injuries. Some species can regenerate entire body sections. This capacity enables them to survive in hostile environments and recover from predation or physical trauma that would be fatal to most other animals. Even more astonishing is the fact that certain species of sea anemones exhibit what scientists call negligible senescence, meaning they show little to no signs of aging. Unlike humans and most animals, which undergo gradual biological deterioration, these anemones can maintain their function, structure, and reproductive capacity throughout their lives. Under ideal conditions, such as stable temperature, abundant food supply, and absence of predators or disease, these creatures could theoretically live forever. They do not experience the buildup of cellular damage that typically leads to aging and death in other organisms. This indefinite youthfulness is closely tied to their regenerative powers. The continuous replacement and repair of damaged cells helps sea anemones maintain a healthy, functional body. Their simple body structure also contributes to their longevity, as it limits the complexity and potential for malfunction seen in more evolved organisms. Because of these traits, sea anemones are of great interest to researchers studying aging, stem cell biology, and regenerative medicine. Understanding how these animals can effectively bypass aging may one day inform medical advances in human health and longevity. In essence, sea anemones are not only captivating due to their beauty and underwater grace, but are also living examples of nature's potential for biological immortality. They embody resilience and renewal in their purest forms.
The lake sturgeon, Acapensa fulvescens, is a remarkable and ancient species of freshwater fish, often referred to as a living fossil due to its lineage dating back over 150 million years. Native to North America, particularly the Great Lakes and Mississippi River basins, this fish stands out not only for its size, reaching lengths of over 7 feet and weights of several hundred pounds, but also for its extraordinary longevity. Some individuals are known to live up to 150 years, making them one of the longest living freshwater fish species. One of the most fascinating aspects of the lake sturgeon is its unique aging process. Unlike most animals, including other fish, lake sturgeon show negligible signs of senescence, meaning they don't age in the typical biological sense. As they grow older, they continue to reproduce and increase in size, without the sharp decline in reproductive output or cellular function that many organisms experience. This phenomenon has drawn significant scientific interest, as it suggests that lake sturgeon may possess biological mechanisms that slow or resist the typical processes of aging. Researchers believe that this longevity and resistance to age-related decline may be linked to the sturgeon's extremely slow metabolic rate and correspondingly slow cell degradation. This slow pace of life likely contributes to the minimal wear and tear observed in their organs and systems over decades, allowing them to thrive well into their second century of life. Their resilience and unusual biology have made them a subject of study in the field of aging and longevity, offering potential insights into how some organisms naturally circumvent the usual effects of time. Despite their impressive biology, lake sturgeon populations have suffered due to overfishing, habitat destruction, and pollution over the last 2 centuries. Conservation efforts are now in place in many regions to help protect this ancient and biologically intriguing species, which continue.
Horseshoe crabs, often called living fossils, have remained virtually unchanged for over 450 million years, showcasing their remarkable adaptability. They are not true crabs, but marine arthropods closely related to spiders and scorpions, with a hard horseshoe-shaped exoskeleton, a long telson tail, and 5 pairs of legs. 4 species exist today: the Atlantic horseshoe crab along North America's eastern coast and 3 Asian species. Their survival through multiple mass extinctions stems from a simple diet of small crustaceans, worms, algae, and detritus, which allows them to endure food scarcity. Their stable ecological niche, with few predators and a reproductive strategy of laying thousands of eggs during spawning season, has enabled them to thrive in environments from sandy beaches to estuaries. Their efficient physiology, including gills for oxygen extraction and a telson for righting themselves, has required little evolutionary change, contributing to their slow aging and longevity. Their bright blue blood, colored by copper-based hemocyanin, contains amoebocytes that clot around bacteria, forming a barrier against toxins. This unique immune system has made their blood critical for testing vaccines and medical devices, as it detects bacterial contamination with high sensitivity. Horseshoe crabs grow slowly, taking 10 to 12 years to reach sexual maturity, and can live for decades, with their robust immune properties preventing disease and aging-related decay. This slow aging process, combined with genetic adaptations that enhance their ability to combat microbes, allows them to maintain vitality over their long lifespans, making them resilient to biological decline. Despite their ancient resilience, horseshoe crabs face significant modern threats that outweigh the effects of aging. Overharvesting for biomedical use and fishing bait has led to population declines, particularly for the vulnerable Atlantic horseshoe crab and the endangered trispine horseshoe crab. Habitat loss from coastal development, shoreline hardening and sea level rise due to climate change has reduced critical spawning beaches. Pollution such as herbicide runoff contaminates estuaries and harms egg development. The harvesting process, which involves extracting up to 30% of their blood, can cause significant mortality and reduce breeding capacity in surviving females. These pressures also impact ecosystems, as horseshoe crab eggs are a vital food source for migratory shorebirds, whose populations are declining. Conservation efforts offer hope for horseshoe crab survival. Synthetic alternatives to their blood are being developed to reduce harvesting needs, though adoption is slow in some regions. Improved harvesting practices and programs to rescue eggs from crabs used as bait are helping stabilize populations in certain areas. Protecting spawning habitats and reducing coastal pollution are critical to ensuring juvenile crabs reach breeding age, which can take up to 20 years.
Lobsters are remarkable marine crustaceans that defy conventional aging processes, making them a subject of intrigue in both marine biology and gerontology. Unlike most animals, they do not exhibit the typical signs of weakening with age. Instead, they continue to grow throughout their lives through a process known as molting. During molting, lobsters shed their hard exoskeleton, which is then replaced by a new, larger one, allowing them to increase in size incrementally. This growth can continue indefinitely, with some lobsters reaching lengths exceeding 3 feet and weights surpassing 40 pounds, though such giants are increasingly rare due to intense fishing pressures. Primarily inhabiting the cold waters of the Atlantic Ocean, species like the American lobster, or Homarus americanus, and the European lobster, or Homarus gammarus, thrive in rocky coastal habitats. They are opportunistic feeders, using their powerful claws to capture a diet of fish, crabs, mollusks, and even other lobsters, which sustains their robust metabolism and supports their ongoing development. This ability to grow and maintain strength over decades sets them apart from most species, where growth typically slows or stops with maturity. The key to their exceptional longevity lies in the production of telomerase, an enzyme that repairs DNA and prevents cellular aging. Telomerase works by maintaining the length of telomeres, the protective ends of chromosomes that shorten with each cell division in most organisms, eventually leading to aging and cell death. In lobsters, this enzyme counteracts that shortening, allowing their cells to divide and regenerate effectively over long periods. This biological mechanism theoretically enables lobsters to live indefinitely, with some individuals documented to survive beyond 70 years in the wild and potentially much longer in controlled environments like aquariums. Their natural coloration, often a mottled green, brown, or bluish hue that turns the iconic bright red when cooked, reflects their healthy physiology, which supports continuous growth, reproduction, and resilience. This unique trait has made lobsters a focal point for scientific research into aging and cellular regeneration, offering insights into how other species, including humans, might delay age-related decline. However, despite their resistance to aging, lobsters are not immortal and eventually succumb to external factors rather than senescence. The molting process, while crucial for growth, becomes increasingly energy-intensive as they grow larger. Older or weaker lobsters may struggle to complete this process, leading to exhaustion or death if they cannot replenish their energy reserves quickly enough after shedding their exoskeleton. Disease, such as shell disease caused by bacteria or fungi, can weaken their defenses, while predation and injuries from fishing gear or environmental hazards like pollution pose additional threats. Their reproductive efforts also take a toll, as females can produce thousands of eggs per clutch, requiring significant energy investment. In the wild, these pressures mean few lobsters reach extreme old age, with many harvested long before they can showcase their full lifespan potential. This delicate balance between their biological advantages and environmental challenges underscores. The Rougheye rockfish, a remarkable deep-sea species, is renowned for its extraordinary longevity, with some individuals living over 200 years. Found primarily in the cold, oxygen-rich waters of the North Pacific, particularly along the coasts of Alaska and British Columbia, this fish thrives at depths of 500 to over 2,000 feet. Its ability to survive for centuries makes it one of the longest living fish known to science. The Rougheye's slow growth, late maturity, and low reproductive rates contribute to its vulnerability to overfishing, as populations take decades to replenish. Its reddish-pink coloration, spiny dorsal fins, and rough textured skin give it a distinctive appearance, well suited to its rocky deep-sea habitat. Unlike many other species, the Rougheye rockfish exhibits minimal cellular deterioration with age, a trait that fascinates scientists studying longevity. Most animals experience a decline in cellular function over time, but the Rougheye's biological processes remain remarkably stable. This resilience is likely due to its highly efficient metabolism and adaptations to the extreme pressures and low temperatures of its environment. These conditions may slow metabolic rates, reducing the accumulation of cellular damage. The fish's ability to maintain stable physiological functions over such a long lifespan offers a unique window into the mechanisms that govern aging invertebrates. A key factor in the Rougheye rockfish's longevity is believed to be its exceptional DNA repair system. This system appears to efficiently correct genetic damage that typically accumulates with age, preventing the onset of aging-related diseases. This remarkable genetic stability not only supports the fish's long life, but also makes it a subject of interest for researchers exploring ways to combat aging in other organisms, including humans. The Rougheye rockfish's life history is shaped by its environment and biology. It grows slowly, often taking 20 years or more to reach reproductive maturity, and produces relatively few offspring compared to other fish. These offspring are released as live larvae, a reproductive strategy that enhances survival in the deep sea. However, this low reproductive output, combined with its long lifespan, makes the species particularly susceptible to environmental changes and human activities like commercial fishing. Conservation efforts are critical to ensure the survival of this ancient mariner. The Pando tree colony, located in south-central Utah, is one of the most extraordinary natural wonders on Earth. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary grove of quaking aspens, but in reality, it's a single massive organism. Known as a clonal colony, Pando consists of over 40,000 genetically identical trees, all connected through one ancient and sprawling underground root system. While each visible tree, or ramette, lives for about 100 to 130 years, the root system, beneath, has been quietly regenerating new trees for tens of thousands of years. Scientists estimate that Pando is around 80,000 years old, possibly even older. This makes it one of the oldest living organisms on Earth. In terms of mass, it's also one of the largest, weighing an estimated 6,000 metric tons. Its name, Pando, comes from the Latin word for I spread, a fitting tribute to the colony's vast and ancient nature. What makes Pando so unique is its strategy for survival. Instead of relying on seeds, it reproduces through a process called vegetative cloning, where new shoots sprout from the roots. This allows the colony to adapt and persist, even when individual trees die due to age, fire, or disease. The root system ensures the organism endures, quietly defying time and environmental change. However, Pando isn't invincible. In recent decades, it has shown signs of stress due to overgrazing by deer and elk, as well as human development. Fewer young shoots are surviving to maturity, which threatens the long-term survival of the colony. Conservationists are working to protect and restore Pando, recognizing that preserving this silent giant. Microbes, tiny, often invisible organisms like bacteria and fungi, are among the most resilient life forms on Earth, and some of them display signs of near immortality under the right conditions. One of the most astonishing bacterial species is Deinococcus radiogirans, often dubbed Conan the Bacterium for its extraordinary durability. It can survive doses of radiation that would be lethal to humans thousands of times over, extreme dehydration, acidic environments, and even the vacuum of space. What makes it so tough isn't just a thick cell wall or protective coating, it's its unmatched ability to repair its own DNA after it's been shattered by radiation or other damage. It's as if this microbe refuses to die, choosing instead to stitch itself back together, cell by cell. On the fungal side, organisms like Armillaria ostoyae, better known as the honey fungus in Oregon, take microbial longevity to a whole new level. Though they might look like clusters of mushrooms above ground, these fungi are just fruiting bodies of a vast underground network. An interconnected mass of filaments known as mycelium. The honey fungus spreads silently and slowly beneath the forest floor, covering miles of earth and continuing to grow for thousands of years. In fact, the largest known specimen is considered one of the largest and oldest living organisms on Earth, weighing hundreds of tons and predating most human civilizations. What ties these super resilient microbes together is their incredible ability to adapt and self-repair. While humans wear down with age, many of these microbes simply replace or regenerate damaged parts, maintaining their function indefinitely. In essence, they've mastered biological maintenance at a microscopic scale. They don't age in the traditional sense, but exist in a continuous cycle of renewal, an ancient, quiet persistence that has allowed them to survive planetary catastrophes, mass extinctions, and even the harshest places on Earth. Coral reefs are among the most ancient and complex living structures on Earth, built over thousands of years by tiny, soft-bodied creatures known as coral polyps. Though individual polyps live for only a few years or decades, the larger coral colonies they form can persist for millennia. These colonies are built from the accumulated skeletons of generations of polyps, layering calcium carbonate over time to create vast rock-like formations. In some cases, such as with black coral, colonies have been dated to be over 4,000 years old, making them among the oldest continuously living structures in the ocean. The key to this longevity lies in the coral's unique ability to regenerate and renew itself. As older polyps die off, new ones bud from the colony to take their place, maintaining the structure and slowly expanding it. This perpetual cycle of life and death creates a resilient system that, under stable conditions, can endure for centuries without interruption. Some coral species have evolved strategies to repair tissue, fend off disease, and outgrow damage from predators or storms, enhancing their chances of long-term survival. Crucially, many coral species live in a close, mutually beneficial relationship with tiny photosynthetic algae called zooxanthellae. These algae live inside the coral's tissues and use sunlight to produce energy, which they share with their coral hosts in exchange for shelter and nutrients. This symbiosis not only fuels the coral's growth, but also contributes to the vibrant colors of healthy reefs. In return, the coral provides the algae with carbon dioxide and a protected environment. This relationship is essential to the reef's health and one of the reasons coral can thrive in otherwise nutrient-poor tropical waters. Over time, coral reefs become bustling marine cities, supporting an extraordinary diversity of life. Fish, mollusks, crustaceans, sea turtles, and even marine mammals depend on the reefs for food, shelter, and breeding grounds. Despite covering less than 1% of the ocean floor, coral reefs are home to an estimated 25% of all marine species. The coral's ability to maintain itself through constant renewal allows these ecosystems to function across generations, often outlasting the lifespans of the organisms that rely on them. However, coral reefs are incredibly sensitive to environmental change. Rising ocean temperatures, acidification, pollution, and overfishing threaten their delicate balance. When stressed, corals may expel their algae partners in a process called bleaching, which can lead to mass die-offs. Still, the inherent resilience and ancient adaptability of coral species remain a beacon of hope. If conditions are restored, sea stars, commonly known as starfish, are remarkable marine animals, known not just for their distinct star-shaped bodies, but for their incredible regenerative abilities and unique biology. Unlike many other creatures, sea stars don't simply heal from wounds. They can regrow entire limbs, and in some species, a single severed arm can regenerate into a whole new individual, provided part of the central disc is attached. This ability places them among nature's most impressive examples of biological resilience and regeneration. Their anatomy plays a central role in this extraordinary capacity. Sea stars don't have a centralized brain like mammals. Instead, they possess a decentralized nervous system with a nerve ring in the center and radial nerves extending into each arm. If the central disc is damaged but not destroyed, the remaining structure can rebuild what's lost. Some species even reconstruct their entire central nervous system, essentially rebuilding their neural core, allowing them to maintain function, coordination, and responsiveness long after injury. This self-renewing mechanism contributes to their seemingly ageless nature. Unlike humans and many other animals that exhibit clear signs of biological aging, such as cell decay, reduced function, or susceptibility to disease, sea stars show few such signs over time. Their bodies are in a constant state of cellular renewal. As old or damaged cells die off, new ones replace them seamlessly. This continuous regeneration keeps their tissues and systems operating efficiently, enabling them to recover from physical trauma and environmental stress without accumulating the kind of wear and tear that leads to aging in most organisms. Another fascinating aspect of sea stars is their ability to manipulate their body structure to aid survival and movement. Their entire underside is lined with hundreds or thousands of tiny tube feet, operated by a water vascular system that acts like hydraulic pumps, allowing precise control over motion and grip. Even with lost limbs, they adapt their movement and balance with surprising agility. This functional plasticity further enhances their survivability and supports the regenerative process by maintaining mobility even when partially injured. In the vast, often harsh environment of the ocean floor, where predators, competition, and physical damage are constant threats, sea stars endure, not by fleeing or fighting, but by outlasting and outgrowing harm. Their ability to remain biologically youthful, repair themselves from damage that would be fatal to most organisms. Thanks so much for watching. If you thought creatures that defy aging were wild, just wait until you see what nature's real-life superheroes can do, from regeneration to invisibility. The next video dives into animal superpowers you won't believe exist. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and we'll